Well, what it do, comic bros? It's your boy, Super Duper Sean, and this is Power of Comics. And I'm back with another video. But today, I got some insight on these tariffs and how it's going to affect our comic book collecting, our comic book importing, our all-around comic book hobby. Man, y'all already know prices going up, man. You know, I hate to say it, but prices is going up, man. I am not a fan of prices going up, especially when my paycheck ain't going up with it. But before I get into that, I need y'all to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I got this article from Bleeding Cool that's going to give us all the insight we need as collectors. I already feel like I've been talking too much. Let's get into it. Since American President Donald Trump paused the threatened taxes and tariffs against American importers of Canada and Mexican goods earlier in the year, and importers from China got away with just a 10% tariff, the fact that this was a delay rather than a cessation was an inconvenient truth that many tried to dismiss. Tariffs weren't mentioned much at the recent Comics Pro Retailers Summit. Surely a deal could be done in time, but today it is no longer impossible to ignore the fact that USA imposed 25% tariffs across the board against Canada and Mexico, and increased the China tariff to 20%. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau issued a retaliatory statement saying that Canada will not let this unjustified decision go unanswered. Should American tariffs come into effect tonight, Canada will, effective 12:01 Eastern Time tomorrow, respond with 25% tariffs against 155 billion of American goods, starting with tariffs on 30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining 125 billion on American products in 21 days' time. Our tariffs will remain in place until the U.S. trade action is withdrawn. And should U.S. tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures. While we urge the U.S. administration to reconsider their tariffs, Canada remains firm in standing up for our economy, our jobs, our workers, and for a fair deal. Because of the tariffs imposed by the U.S., Americans will pay more for groceries, gas, cars, and potentially lose thousands of jobs. Tariffs will disrupt an incredibly successful trading relationship. They will violate the very trade agreement that was negotiated by President Trump in his last term. China has imposed a 15% tariff on imported chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton, while a 10% tariff will be imposed on sorghum, soybeans, pork, beef, aquatic products, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, China accounted for 17% of American agriculture exports in 2023. Beijing also placed 25 American firms under export and investment restrictions on national security grounds. How would these taxes and tariffs affect American comic book stores? Most comic books read in America are printed in Canada, close to the paper mill, logging forest, and most large collections are printed in China. In January, Gina Galino at the Comics Journal cited many publishers on the issues they are facing regarding taxes and tariffs at the border. Eric Reynolds, vice president and associate publisher at Fantagraphics, said, Even if we could find printers domestically who could do a lot of the higher end hardcover visual art books that we do, they would cost roughly twice as much or more as the same book would cost to print overseas. Our options in terms of paper and printing, binding will be limited, and the quality would likely suffer as well. I read somewhere that there hasn't been a new paper mill built in the US in something like 35 years, and that the number of existing paper mills is a small fraction of US printing's 20th century heyday. Avi Enrich, the publisher of Silver Sprocket, said, "The decision to print overseas isn't just about cost, though they are cheaper, but really about quality and options. We haven't been able to find domestic printers able to offer the quality and options available from printers overseas, such as the high quality, interesting paper stocks, binding options, and unique foils that make our books stand out. We used to print primarily in Canada and finally moved most of our printing overseas after a series of very frustrating quality issues and delays due to North American printers simply not having all of the resources available under one roof to efficiently and correctly make the books with the quality we want to be producing." Josh O'Neill, publisher of Beehive Books, said, "I just know for our odd business, there's no manufacturing capacity to do books like these in America. And that capacity could not be easily rebuilt. It's less about the labor costs than the machines and expertise just not existing to do high-end book publishing. Printing overseas is often quicker than domestically, even with the long shipping times, because printing domestically often means one printer handling the covers, another handling a special cover effect, and a third printing the text block, which introduces so many extra opportunities for mistakes and delays as the project is moved between different printers." Layla Aker, director of publishing at Square Enix Manga and Books, said, "Aside from tariffs on finished books printed in other countries, the other area of concern would be tariffs on paper, which would have the potential to affect titles printed in the US as well." And Damon Wassel, publisher of Volt Comics, said, "While the environment may benefit American printers, it will harm smaller American publishers disproportionately. In relation to larger publishers, print costs are extremely scale sensitive. Publishers who are producing work with large print runs will still be able to find margin without making significant changes to their publishing operations or strategies. Smaller publishers simply will not have that luxury." When the plans were initially announced, Bleeding Cool looked at the likely impact on monthly superhero comics, and those issues haven't gone away. They are expected to have a greater impact on DC Comics than Marvel, as DC is more likely to print in Canada, though both have long-term printing contracts. We also looked at how Bad Idea Comics' recent Hank Howard Pizza detective campaign could result in a $200,000 loss for the publisher due to the tariffs. Alien Books, Mateus Timerich, "I told you that the tariffs were likely going to lead to an increase in the price of single-issue comics by at least $1, and this could be the end of the $4.99 comic book, and that they had changed everything about their plans to relaunch the Valiant universe." The biggest comic book printer in North America, based across Canada, Transcontinental Inc., has made the move to cover the cost on tariffs on the comics they print for 90 days after the tariffs have been imposed. That effectively puts a 3-month delay on the impact these taxes and tariffs are going to have on comic book publishers such as DC Comics, Marvel, Image, and many much smaller companies. While taking a massive whack in the process, it is not an exaggeration to say that Transcontinental may have just saved a number of comic book publishers and comic book stores from going bust with one move. Now, obviously, not even a printer as big as Transcontinental Inc. can indefinitely subside the American comic book market, but 3 months may be enough to keep the plate spinning until a more permanent solution can be found, or at least a less temporary one. As for Canadian comic book stores, it is likely that they will shift their business from US distributors like PRH and Diamond Lunar to their local universal distribution, likely now to receive comics directly from the printers rather than going via the USA, to avoid the new import taxes. American comic buyers near the US-Canada border might also start hopping back and forth to buy their comic books and other goods. And US comic book stores may do deals with Canadian stores to circumvent the new taxes or set up a delivery spot they can access, as many businesses will also try to circumvent the new taxes. Expect the US-Canadian border to be a hotbed of comic book smuggling in weeks to come. Everyone else will just have to pay the tariff and taxes. Digital comic books won't be affected, at least for now. Yo, so there you have it. Hey, this is crazy, man. Them omnibuses are all them books right there. The books that you see behind me, the omnibuses, they're always printed in Canada. They're always printed in other countries. And you see how much paper they need, how fat they are. You know them prices is going up on them omnis, man. Woo. Man, yo. Shout out to Transcontinental Inc. for stepping in. You know what I'm saying? Stepping in. But they said they only covering it for 90 days, yo. They hitting our pockets with this, y'all. They hitting our pockets with this, man. I'm just worried, man. I'm worried that there's no way that the omnibus game is gonna get shut down. It's too lucrative. You know what I mean? It's no way. I don't care. It says that we don't have the printing technology like they do overseas. They must got some real nice, high-tech, high-quality printers if we can't even match them. I just thought they were printing over there just because it was cheaper. I didn't know we didn't have the means to do it here. You know what I mean? Shoot. This article basically just said that, they got better technology over there when it comes to printing. That's major delays. This tariff stuff can mess up a lot for us collectors, man. Books getting pushed back, not hitting their release date. What about the quality? They said they can print them in America too, but the quality will drop, will dip. And not only will the quality dip, the price will still go up because of the tariff. So you're paying more for less quality. What's up with that, man? This is not good, man. This is not good for the young collectors. You know what? When these politicians is doing their thing and doing whatever they doing, it's always the working man. You know what I'm saying? It's always the working man, the blue collar man that catch strays, man. That catch strays. Now, the collector in me hates this. Anytime I hear something that I care about, something I love so much, collecting comics, manga, omnis, didn't omnis just go up? It's gonna go up again? Shout out to Rich Johnston, who wrote this article on Bleeding Cool. That is not the full article. There are 2 more paragraphs that wasn't really talking about much, but if you care to read the whole article, it is available on bleedingcool.com. I just wanted to give y'all a little insight about it. How do y'all feel about these tariffs? Is there any way that we can get around it? How much more do y'all think the omnibuses will go up? How much? Give me an estimate. Drop it in the comment section below. I'm your boy, Super Duper Deuces.